Now we are going to create our first directive. So the problem was we have, if you go to the form project, we have under form index.html, we have those sections, right? So I'll copy the first section and I'll go to our project and index.html. We have a couple extra files here. Index.html in our project. So remember, this was the state we were, and this is what we were executing, right? Now what I want to do is I want to replace that by the whole section. So I'm going to save, execute our npm run build. Our server is still running. If your server is not running, npm start and open another window, npm run build, so you can be more efficient. Now if I execute, I have this, right? But if I need to create another section for this instance, if you go back to the form project, let's get the ng disabled, and this is another section. So I have lots of copy and paste in here in its own document. All of this is exactly the same as this. So there is no reason why I need all of this code. I need to write all of that code. So let's execute. I just pasted two examples from that we wrote already in the past. One was ng model and the other one ng disabled. I just expect to see both in here and they work, right? Click, unclick, and all that stuff. So our challenge now is write a directive that will make our code simpler, and I'll get into the same result, same exact result. So what I'm going to do first is, let's go back to our project. We create a folder app and we create a folder called directives. Inside directives, I'm going to create a directive called document section, right? So this is the name of the file. Create new file, document-section.js, and in here use strict. And remember the way I said I like to write the controllers, saying variable name equals function, and on the bottom do app directive. In here I'll do the other way around. In here I'll create app.directive, because I don't have any imports and it'll be pretty clean like this. And my directive will be called document section and function, right? So nothing new so far. And because my directive has this name, the way I use it is document-section. If your directive is called my directive name, you would write here my directive name. And to use would be like my directive name. It transforms the camel case into dash and then transform that to lowercase. Camel case, uppercase to dash, and then lowercase. Okay? So let's go back to document section. And inside here I'm going to write my directive will return something, and that's all it will do. And we will talk about all of this on the next lectures. But transclude, so basically the first one is just saying that it will be an element. Transclude is getting the scope from whoever is calling the directive. So if we have a controller, we have access to all the variables, and in here I have my own scope, and my own scope will have a variable name called title, and I'll receive that as a parameter. And also I have a template URL, and that's why we add the nodejs. And this will import our HTML. We didn't create the HTML yet, but we need to call /app, and I'll explain in a sec. /directives. Now we are here, and you can either create a folder which will carry all the HTMLs, or in this case I'm gonna leave like this, and if we need, we refactor as we go. And let's create document section.html. Right? There's a way to write the HTML right here, but I think it's cleaner for us to have our HTML where it's supposed to be, right? Somewhere else, not bothering us right here. And I forgot here on the beginning, require, and if you look at now, we are under directives, so we need to go back one folder and app /app, and on the bottom here, module.export equals app, because I added to app, I'm just re-exporting it, and this will be visible to whoever. And one more thing I need to do is remember the index, our index here. Here we have the controllers. Of course we don't need to split that up, but directives. And here I'll do require /directives /form is actually document section directive. That's the name. Document section.js was the file, right? Yep, confirmed. So this is our entry point. Is going to get the controller, is going to get this, and I promised that I would explain this. So if you open our server.js was saying that our static folder is project. So because of that, I don't need to type /project, because all of this is inside project already. So when I do /, I come back to the first stage, not where I am right now. So it goes to the first folder, and then from here you follow through until you find your HTML. So this should be alright, and now we need to create the HTML. So our HTML, basically, if you look into our HTML, we have two sections. Those sections have all of the same thing, right? So what I want to do is, inside directives, I'm going to create a file, document section.html. So this is what I said was my template in here. And go back to your HTML, see all of this, cut all of this, paste in here, and let's add one more div here. Now we need to close the divs, right? So it's so much work every time we need to write one directive that this happens. So now is easy. We have 1, this opens and closes, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this one here, we will say ng transclude, which means whatever in here, I'm going to add everything that I put inside my directive, and I will show you what this is. Go back in here. Our directive name is document section, right? And this is how we call it. Everything that is inside our directive, that's all of this, it will be printed inside that ng transclude. So let's change. Oh, it's not div. It is document section. So we just create this, and actually this form here, I don't care that to be inside. It's okay to be outside. So look at the difference. This is my section now, and this was my section. So I don't have like duplicated code. And we have one single problem, right? What about this guy? So let's cut this. Let's add this as a title. Why title? Because if you go back to our directive, document section directive, I have scope title and has this at in here. So this at is telling Angular that I have a scope in this directive that will be called title, and whatever I put in this title is going to show up there from directive attribute. And the one more thing we need to do, we can do, is good practice, is use data dash title instead of dash title, data dash ng model, data dash ng model. This works, but to be accepted by legacy application, but this is better. This is good practice. And use dash instead of the name, like in our case that was like document section, instead of doing this, right? And just occurred me that in our document while I was explaining, this is the name of my directive, right? And this name will be translated to this, will be exposed, and can be used with the dash instead of the uppercase, like I explained before. So let's execute this again. Looking to our server, it should restart. Done. And it should be loaded. Boom. ng model from directive attribute. And if I click, I change. I can change here, right? I can do many things. This one here, let's see what happened with that one. Yeah, that's good. Good. So this is our first directive. In short, we create a document section that is making our life easier, and we just translated from all of this to a simple use of the directive. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 6 closing tags, 5 closing tags, so 11 lines in 2, open and close.